I found that most brokerage owners don't give nearly enough thought to their culture. And so they end up creating a culture kind of on accident. And I want to tell you that your culture is actually what's going to attract agents in, and it's going to repel agents out. So it is so important. It's kind of the root of everything. I talk to lots of brokerage owners and they're like, I just want to grow. How do I recruit? And then when I tell them, it's like, it's got to start with your culture. They're sort of like, oh, I didn't realize that. They just think there's like a magic pill that, just do this one thing and then boom, you can recruit. And I mean, there are, obviously lots of strategies and things you can do to recruit, but it always starts back with your culture, which always starts with you. You don't have to spend tons of time doing this, but you do need to spend a little bit of time sitting down and just thinking about what you're creating. I know with my first brokerage, it was something I really didn't get and I didn't understand. And I did it all sort of on accident. I mean, I sort of kind of stumbled my way into creating a good culture. And then I actually broke it and then I had to try to fix it. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. So it starts with you sitting down and thinking about what it is that you really like and what you really don't like. And so what is important to you? For me, it was all about providing amazing service for the clients. I had just worked with so many clients and that I had so many that were so loyal to me. I still get Christmas cards from people, from years ago when I don't even live there anymore because I built such a great relationship with my clients. And I learned I had to think backwards of how I did that. And I said, well, the one thing I always did is I would never put my commission above the client's best interest. And I always sent like little thank you cards to people when we got into escrow, and I had all these little touches that I did all the way through. And my way of communicating with the clients and just different things like that were just my style of how to be a great real estate agent. Well, when I was building a team of people, I started thinking, I'm going to make sure that I hire people that embrace the style of stuff that I do, that have that same spirit, that clients are that important to them. Because, at the end of the day, first off, it's going to keep you out of trouble. But second of all, that's going to be your reputation. And it's your reputation with other agents that you have to think about. And it's, of course, your reputation with your reviews and all of that you're going to get online with your consumers. And so you really want to stop and think about what type of agent it is that is really going to match what the culture is that you want to create. And you get to create that. That's the wonderful thing about owning your own business, is you get to make whatever you want. So it starts though with having a plan and having a vision of what that is. So I would sit down and think about, just try to think about the style of service that you provide and other things that really drive you crazy. We all have had this experience where agents, you leave voicemails, you send texts, and they don't ever get back to you, or they're rude, or they have a big ego. Well, if you don't like that stuff, then just put that into your culture. So what I did is I sat down and I made a mission statement, and it was just a few sentences of like, we are these type of people. This is the service we provide. These are the values that we embody, and put that together, and then sit down and make a little statement of like this, some more sentences of like, this is what we do. This is what we do. This is who we are. And so I put all that together just on one page on a Word document. And when you take the time to think about that, it can always evolve. It can always grow. So you don't have to get it perfect, right out of the gate, but at least you have something, you have a target to hit. And so when you think about that and you have it a little bit more clear in your own mind, that becomes the values that you decide to hire to or fire from. And so if agents aren't meeting those values and you're just not getting that sense that they're going to embrace that and be part of this culture you're creating, when you're having your interviews, you'll at least have that filter in mind as you're doing that. And then you'll just make decisions not to hire agents like that. And then if you've got agents on your team that aren't embracing those values and living up to them, that's where you have to sometimes make tough decisions, and you have to let people go. And you have to really just focus on your culture so that you'll attract the right types of agents and build that reputation in town with other agents so that you can keep attracting more in, and with your consumers so that you have all those great reviews. So I highly suggest that you take a few minutes or, a couple of hours and sit down and really think about your culture and decide, just break it apart. We know what we like and we know what we don't like, but we don't have to sit down and just like actually write it out and really think it through and say, oh, what does that mean to me? Like, for me, it was like anticipating problems before they came up. They're small when they first start and then they become big fires later. So how can I train my agents to treat the clients in that way and to anticipate that stuff, see it coming down the road, and how do we handle that as a team? You as the leader have to set the tone for how things are going to go. So that's my advice to you, is to sit down and think a little bit about your culture. It's amazing what that does when you start pulling your people together. And as soon as I do my interviews, I always would say, okay, here's our sheet. This is who we are. And the people can either see themselves as part of that or not, but it sets that tone right from the get-go. Like, this is who we are. We don't hire everyone. It's a privilege to be here on this team because we are such a great culture and such a great team of people. So just give that a little bit of thought and decide if that's something that maybe you need to work on a little bit and have that direction so that you can really lead your team in the right direction. As always, if you like the content that we're putting out, thank you very much. We would appreciate it if you would like our channel and subscribe so you can stay current when we post new videos.